That's what he's going for or looking for. Pharaoh finally got back to him, I guess. So he's meeting with them. I think he wanted to know about the image, the camera, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't compete with the Matterport.
Yeah. They should have upgraded that camera when they upgraded everything else. Eric, I saw that you're presenting somewhere coming up.
Hey, yeah, tonight actually, 9 p.m. I got a little bait and switched on the Australian time zone, but yeah, 9 p.m. with Civil Survey Solutions. So I've known Matt for years and years, and he reached out and asked if I'd want to co-host something with him. I said, yeah, sure.
Nice.
What's it on?
What's that?
What is it on?
So we're talking about reality capture specifically for like civil survey and stuff. But he, with my background, having worked for Autodesk on the recap team and my time at Leica, he thought those were super interesting and useful to his crowd. So yeah, should be good.
And he's in Australia, huh?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I've been friends with him on LinkedIn for a while. I did not know that. I applied before I went with KR. It was a long time ago. It's just on a whim. I applied to CR Kennedy.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. And then they're like, oh no, we won't pay for your visa though. And I'm like, or moving or anything. And I'm like, oh well, that makes it not worth it then.
Yeah, those are good guys. I at one point I had like a standing offer with them if I ever wanted to move down to Australia, but it's a little far.
A little far. It's like completely opposite side of the world.
Exactly.
Did we lose? No. Yeah, we did. Gabe came in and we lost him. Oh. Which means he'll come back in a second. And Karina should be joining us.
One of the students coming back?
No, I don't think
so. How did that end up?
I haven't touched base with him again.
I appreciate it so much.
You know what it turns out is those are kind of problem students. She admitted. So no wonder. But we still got to have like aha moments with Cyclone, which if they can get good at Cyclone, they can master any of today's softwares.
True story.
Right, Gabe?
Yeah, sure.
You still at work?
No, hang on. I'm gonna have to jump out and jump back in, I think.
Okay. It was 4:02. That's crazy. Kind of a smaller crowd this time. There we go. Oh, you're at home.
I'm at home, hanging out.
Nice.
Just
Dude, that aquarium picture you sent was beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Was that from a new scan, or they finished installing a new part, or?
They're like filling up the tanks.
They've got water in the tanks in the exhibits, so it looks really cool, all lit up with filled up with water and stuff. Dave, you should come down there sometime and let me give you a fucking tour, man, before we open it. Just let me know when you're in the area, man. We'll go take a walk around it. I'll show you some of the stuff I did there. It's cool. It's a pretty neat project. Today I was at the Space Needle working on that one, hanging out up in the roof area. That one's I hate that project, but
what are they doing again? Working on the restaurant, or what are the?
No, we're modernizing the elevators.
Hmm.
No, it's pretty big. It's
fun. It was a fun visit for one day, right? When it was sunny and we got to go hang out on the roof.
Yeah, so today we're up. There's about about a dozen beams and a bunch of handrails that need to go on probably after we finish the roof. So we had to go mark out center line of these beams on these plates that the handrails are going to attach to, so that once it's all covered, they can get the alignment of the handrail straight. So, and I got guys out on vacation and other stuff, so I get to fill the role of being in the field,
Fun,
which
fun,
is fine.
fun.
But I hate that project. So, no, for no other reason than it's the top of the. I'm fat. It's the top of the fucking Space Needle. It takes some effort to get up there.
Fuck all that. Yeah.
You gotta carry some heavy equipment and shit like that. So,
Yeah.
it's a young man's game.
Yeah.
Getting old.
It's a young skinny man's game.
It is a young skinny guy's fucking. I
Amen.
definitely was. For like the first hour or so of my time in the field, I can tell that I've been out. Too long. I've been in the office too long. So
You just don't even want that reminder of how long it's been. Like fuck all that. Yeah. Don't even want to face it. Yeah.
there's a steady paycheck involved. So
There you go.
I like that part pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of all those new Fremont trolls or whatever?
Did you see did you happen to see any of the scans of that stuff?
Yeah, I watched the video. I didn't. Mac didn't send me any of the data or anything, but
I can send you the
It's
data.
phenomenal, man. That was a great way to spend a weekend. I've been using the data at work as just something to look at for, I made a PowerPoint about laser scanning a couple days ago, and I managed to sneak a couple of those trolls in.
Which
it's
one's
just really,
the Bird King?
no, actually it was, what is it? Brunedina,
Oh, yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
And Jacob
But,
Two Dicks probably.
No, but the Bird King was the coolest one. But that
Yeah, me too.
Brunedina is probably my favorite as far as the scans go. It just looks phenomenal.
so how many
That's because we
setups?
climbed a
Did,
tree for that one.
Right? Yeah. How many setups? I don't know. I don't even count anymore. I quit counting setups.
So I think Brew Edna had 6 setups. A lot of the other ones had like 4 or 5.
They
Yeah.
probably would have had more, but there was, the public was all over the place, and
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a fun day.
there was.
I was hoping to get more drone data, but kids kept on coming around. So
Yeah, and then
Oh, yeah.
the other parts of that is like cruising around, meandering around the Pacific Northwest with your buddies and laser scanning cool shit is like I could probably do it every weekend and it would be all right with me.
Yeah,
Totally.
I was taking the ferry, goofing around.
was that
Yeah.
your son in part of the video?
Yeah, that's I have 2. That one's the younger one. Maybe he had a good time too. I mean, so. But Jacob, he's not in here, but he's been in here a couple times. He's another good guy to hang out with, and it was just a good time, man. And it was a good time, and the data turned out really, really cool. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
The videos I posted were actually registered in Register 360, and then I took it into Scene to do the fly-throughs. So I
assume
do
you
like
have-
Scene's gap filling and stuff like that for fly-throughs. I wish Register 360 would add that capability. But
It's an uphill battle there.
yeah. Well, every time you add one, you have to take something away, right?
First.
How's it going, Doug?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. We're yeah, I had like an emergency, come scan my building yesterday. So yeah, I got
Oh, no.
got to go fight LA traffic for 6 hours, but got it done. So
Nice.
yeah, so it was a fun little restaurant deal, but yeah, the animation thing is I really would love it if they would have done that. I know that's one thing that DJI Terra did a really nice job with. Everything was just super intuitive, and so
Leaving us hanging.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still here. You cut out, Doug. We can't hear you.
So went to a bad spot.
Yeah.
So is there any
Oh.
particular reason why those trolls were all spread around and purpose of adding new ones and all that? I hadn't had
So
a
he
chance
was
to
making
look.
it. So he didn't like. You had to follow his. It's a Dutch artist. You had to follow his. Oh, that's meshed out.
This
You
is
had
the
to follow
mesh, yeah.
his Instagram and stuff to get hints to find him. So they were all secretly put out in places, and it's supposed to be an adventure. And I'm pretty sure it was purposely done to help, like, because we ran into, I don't know, 3 or 4 groups that were all doing the same thing we were doing, and they all had to take several ferries, right? So the ferry system was benefiting from it, and it was just, I think it was just an adventure. Is the reason they're so spread out. But like, you could get all 6 in a day if you start early enough. Actually, there was some girls who did. We were 1 short. We got the next one the next day. Whatever you do,
Yeah, that
don't
one
eat
was
on
cool.
Vashon.
What's that?
Don't what?
What'd you say about a mesh?
Oh,
He said
he showed
Vashon.
some of the troll data and it was mesh.
Oh,
Did you see it?
What happened on Vashon?
Oh, that Gabe was nice enough to buy us lunch, and it was
Oh my
for
God.
what we got.
We got
it was
4
quite,
sandwiches and some potato salad and a couple like seltzer waters, and it was $140.
Oh.
And they weren't even good sandwiches. And get this, the place was called Gravy, and
there was no gravy.
There was no gravy. It was like a it was ridiculous.
It was one of those places where they built the food to be better on like social media than it actually tastes. Like, it was, the bread was like this far apart from each other, just piled up with nonsense inside of it, so you can't even take a bite of it. It looks great in a picture, I'm sure, but
No, we probably could have taken good pictures of it, but it tasted like
dog food.
if it had been an $80 meal, I probably wouldn't have complained, but it was way too much.
Well, the fact that you couldn't get a soda, it was like beer, wine, or like lemon water.
Yeah, no whiskey,
Yeah.
So couldn't get a proper drink. And then, I might not have gotten one anyways, but still.
No, I mean, yeah, I would have definitely gotten a soda though, I don't know. But other than that, it was a great day. I figured out how to win any bet with a buddy.
How do you do that? What was
And they
the
say,
bet?
"What do you want to wager?" You say a blowjob, and they immediately back out.
Well, like I said, I would never bet that unless I knew I was going to win. So you must have known something I didn't,
It's a good buddy test though. Because if they say yes and they're not sure if they're gonna win, it means they're gonna enjoy it either way.
Just be careful if you come down this way.
Yeah.
I'm going to be down in San Francisco here, and I don't know when exactly, but I'll be down there for several weeks. We should go grab lunch if you know somewhere that's not
Yeah.
$140 for a couple sandwiches,
Well,
I told Leo he
might
needs
be
to take you to
borderline,
his
but
Chinese food place too.
Or if they are $140, they better be delicious,
yeah, no, there's definitely some spots down here, and yeah, I'd happily join you.
Did you say you were coming up here, Douglas?
Yeah, I'm actually coming. I'm coming next week.
Next week? Okay.
I'll be there Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday's wide open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Where you staying, Seattle?
We lost you after you were
yeah.
talking about Terra. We just heard Terra, and then that was the last.
Yeah. Maybe Microsoft Teams doesn't like Terra. I don't know, but yeah. No. So I'll be there. I'll be there Wednesday. I think Thursday I might be going up to Vancouver. I don't know, but
Good
but
time.
yeah, Wednesday. Morning or afternoon would be good. Are you the only one up in Seattle, or is anybody else up there?
Gabe's up there.
I'm in Seattle. Dave Moss is in Seattle.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to get together, Wednesday, maybe I don't know. Does breakfast work? Because I might be breakfast or happy hour. Because I might.
You pick
have to
whatever
schedule
fits your
something.
schedule, man. We'll accommodate you.
Yeah. We'll go to 13 Coins or something.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Awesome.
That place serves great food 24 hours a day.
They do have a great breakfast. But yeah, whatever, man. If you're in town, man, let's get together.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I got to look up where I'm staying. Uh-oh.
What
Yeah,
kind of job do you have up there?
I am going up there because my girlfriend has a lecture and so she's working in the area. I'm coming up because it's her birthday and I've got a bunch of other stuff I got to do. I'm meeting a manufacturer, for a different. I also have a hostel development that I've been working on
Nice.
for a couple of years, and so there's a manufacturer up there that does some really cool manufacturing out of carbon fiber, and so I want to go see their carbon fiber panel factory. Supposed to be pretty cool. And I figured, Mac was up there too, and yeah, so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if
figure
I
while
want to get lectured by my wife, I can just go in the other room.
I'm a glutton for punishment, man. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. So we had and that's what the whole visiting kind of reminded me. I love this industry, man. We just had a buddy who kind of, because of software failures, fell behind a little bit at work, and just like Gabe and I just took half of his workload each and just started helping him out. It was, and I know that like there's a ton of people I could call if I was in that same scenario. I love this industry, and like it's almost that European feel. Like, when you talk to a European, they're like, "Oh, when you come, you stay with me." I get that kind of feel more in groups like this than I do anywhere else in my life, I think.
Are you
cool
sure
bunch
you
of
don't
people.
get more of that feeling when you're betting blowjobs with your buddies?
Yeah.
I just want to say Mac's the only one that does that.
Yeah.
At least for the people that I hang out with.
I mean, that's hospitality.
It's a win at all costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to tell him he already owed
It's
me
been
for
a
the
long
last
time in
time. I tell you, I
Are
would
you
have
in
won that
that,
bet, and I still turned it down, just in
Yeah.
case.
Did you look at the LinkedIn conversation at all today, Sean?
Yeah. I saw something about physical fitness.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I laughed. I thought it was funny as shit.
They're like, I nominate you to be our physical fitness trainer. I was like, no.
Yeah, I'm not doing it either.
Yeah,
Way
you
too
don't.
broken.
Yeah. We'll hurt their feelings, I'm sure.
Yeah. I
No
did
grown up needs to be told the
I
things
did-
that we were told.
I did air assault school. I was like 3 weeks into my first station in the army. They're like, you're high speed. You want to get promotion points, right? I was like, yeah, I want to get promoted. I want to move up. And they're like, go to air assault school. So day 1, day 0, the obstacle course for air assault school. I fucking rope was wet and the wall was wet, and I just slipped and fucking snapped my ankle. It was like that was that. Yep. It's like, I'm gonna go be all I can be and go to air assault school as a fucking intel analyst. Like I'm ever gonna get rappelling out of fucking helicopters. Yeah, that was a blast.
Fun.
Definitely not in charge of the physical fitness anymore.
Fitness donut.
Yeah.
Did I don't know if Mac told you guys, but we bought a scanner. We finally took the plunge and purchased one. I'm sure you guys knew already, but
I saw you post that. Yeah.
yeah.
We can see it all pretty in the background.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even notice. It's hard to see it up there with all the I need to apparently post some awards behind me. Because look at you
A
guys.
good
all
friend of mine told me that I should put those up behind me. So I did.
probably all ambitious, I got a
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine.
That's
There
bitching.
you go.
And
Yeah,
Nirvana.
That's pretty cool, right?
Dave, are you the other K in K&K?
I am.
And are you also a Kowalski?
No.
No, I'm a Kettler and Kowalski.
Kettler and Kowalski. Okay, cool. And how do you guys know each other?
We've known each other for a few years. I actually sold him a scanner 2.5, 3 years ago.
It's been about 2 years. The Mac
Yeah.
and Mac was one of our local vendors, and
Mhm.
we just kind of clicked up right away. We were out on a demo, and I was running Cyclone Core, and he was running 3DR, and I was keeping up with him pretty well in Cyclone Core, and it's just kind of the start of like, well, fuck, you know,
I'm still.
I don't know that many people that use scanning like the way that I do in construction, and you know, a lot of conversations, you know, started that way, and
The romance
you know,
blossomed from
workflows come
there.
from this stuff, and so
How do you use it in construction?
how do I? I mean,
Yeah.
I use it for all kinds of stuff. BIM model comparison. You know, basically anything that's geo-referenced on a project, I'll laser scan it. I do a ton of like heat maps, you know, for like indicating floor flatness, and calculating volumes for you know, fill areas. Um, Lots of deliverables to for BIM, you know, for
Mhm.
modeling and stuff, which I do a little bit of that, but it's not my favorite. But we have a VDC department that does that. And then let's see, like last week I you know, scanned a house for an architect, just to create a floor. I mean, we use it for everything you can use it for, just and then some, it feels like. A lot of people are just generating point clouds for clients, and
Yeah.
I really use the data and extract the information that I want out of it and use it for you know, I'm not sure even the best way.
With the
You know,
speed
I do a
and
lot of
efficiency
as
that
builds
works
with it,
for
I guess. But
construction.
again, I do. What's some other stuff I do? Like
Well,
go ahead.
so it sounds like you do third party scanning, but do you also do scanning for your own captive development stuff? You know, or
So I do very little of the third party because I'm, you know, I still have a day job, which is
okay.
one of the larger construction companies in America here.
That's right. Was that
So-
Skanska?
What's that?
No,
No,
Skanska?
Skanska's
it's-
Eric
It's,
Guzietti.
it's Turner Construction. And then,
Oh, Turner. Okay, yeah.
you know, I spent, you know, 10 years or 11 years before that with Bechtel.
Mhm.
And they're a pretty large company. And, you know, I worked for, before that, I got started with Hoffman Construction. You know, we were building Intel plants. And that's kind of where I got my first taste of laser scanning back in 2011. So I've done a lot of stuff. I also worked in the metrology department at Bechtel for, you know, 7 years or so. And that was, you know, so I'm pretty proficient with laser trackers and some of the inspection softwares. And we used all kinds of scanners at Bechtel, including the Surphaser, which I don't know if you guys have ever had your hands on that, but pretty freaking amazing piece of equipment as far as the data goes. You know, that's kind of a short. I'd have to show you probably some examples of stuff that I did.
Yeah, that'd be cool. What software do you use for the floor flatness heat maps?
3DR.
That's 3DR.
I do use 3DR, but I typically generate deliverables in Carlson. I can create them in 3DR, but I think I like the way they look a little better when I create them in AutoCAD. So, you know, depending on who's looking at it, honestly, if it was somebody probably in this call, I may be inclined to create a mesh and export, you know, a report in 3DR. But for the most part, like superintendents on our projects, really like the way they look out of CAD. Let me show you a quick example.
Perfect. I'm gonna go get some ice. I'll be right back.
Roger that. Let's see here.
Yeah, that'd be cool because I am targeting, construction folks, and, the as-built models and, contractors are a tricky bunch, but, that's the kind of stuff, that, that I think they want. And, yeah, I never even thought about how to do it.
So, this has call outs there. I don't know if you can see that on your phone. You can see that call out that says it's a 1/4 inch high.
Oh, yeah, I can't look close enough because I'm driving.
So on 2-foot grid on this particular drawing, I'm showing contour lines. You can see probably the red and blue areas, right? So red's high, blue is low. And then, in that whatever grid pattern I decide to use, I'll give actually the deviation from whatever the average is on that floor or design sometimes, and then I'll put a fancy little scale bar over here, and but you can see it's pretty clean. If those of you that can see this, it's fairly clean data, and I did this yesterday. I started yesterday morning, went out and I scanned it, took it back to the shop, processed the scan data, exported a grid, created a mesh, exported contour lines, and then just kind of pick away at it till I get her finished. I got another one I'm doing tomorrow. So, but yeah, if you're targeting construction companies, man, you should either get Mac or myself involved a little bit. We can kind of help push the sale because we've been using it in that particular industry for a long time.
I think that's what
Yeah.
was our original get together, as when I was like, hey, what if I showed up, we scanned your job, and we had a floor flatness report before noon or before lunch? Would that interest you? And we did. We got there, we got it done. I think by 11.
And so
Nice.
some of the companies that I've worked for in the past have decided they were going to get into scanning, right? And then they kind of fell on their face because everybody's an expert, oh yeah, I saw a scanner one time, I can do anything for you. Well, projects pay all this extra money, and then they don't necessarily get the results they want, or they don't get them in the time that they want. I can tell you this, if you're going to dabble in construction, you better be able to crank out your deliverables as when you say you can. We're not talking about a registered point cloud. We're talking you got to register it, get it into a software that you can extract whatever your data looking for and get them their fucking results. Because after about 1 or 2 times of them not getting exactly what you said you were going to give them, scanning goes away and we go conventional real fast because we know we can go out there and with a few shots, get the specific data they need. So.
Well, I think Mac knows this, but I got the shit kicked out of me, on one, big job, where I didn't know that in Cyclone.
He keeps on leaving us on cliffhangers.
You're killing me, guy.
Can you share your screen on that floor flatness thing again? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's actually just a heat map. It's not really floor flatness.
Yeah, I'm working with the ACI. I want to get rid of the floor flatness report or testing.
So you see that, right?
Yep. Are you delivering an active, a civil 3D surface in this, or is it just the PDF?
This is just a PDF.
Okay.
I do have, like I said, I usually, so I'll deliver this. This is what the people in the field are going to look at, right?
Yeah.
But I always deliver the CAD drawing as well. But
what is the contour interval?
These are 1/8 inch. I've got them grayed out. So they're there. They're just really light. So 1/8 contours. This was actually a wood floor.
And then it's the grid is a high or low value based off of what you've surveyed the floor to be?
awkward
So on this
design, I
particular one, I took an average height.
Okay,
imagine.
got you.
Are you back, Doug?
I think so.
Oh,
Okay.
there he
You
is.
keep on leaving us on cliffhangers.
Sean, if you have any more
Yeah, I'm
questions,
sorry, man.
I'd be
No, I'm
happy
just
to go over that
I'd
with
do
you.
that. I'd do that in the lidar point cloud in Terra software, Terra Solid software. So it's just a different way. And I was just curious, like how you what you're looking at, what you're delivering. I'm just thinking through the way
Sure.
that I'm used to doing it, I guess.
I could probably crank it out about 10 times faster if I just did it in my my in 3DR, you
Yeah.
know, but they're just a couple things about it is like their contours they're a mess every time, you know what I mean? And let me see if I can probably pull that up too. But their contours are always less,
Yeah.
there's no smoothing, right? So you know, they're prettier and for what they need, you know, they're pretty much trying to like indicate any areas that are low for the most part. That's not always the case depending on like if it's a PT slab, because they can't really grind on those. But this is, oh wait, I had to share again. So this is kind of what it looks like when
Without the color.
yeah. So you can see these contours. They're, you know, they're a mess.
Yeah.
I should have. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll create essentially the same thing in 3DR, and I'll use this as a check, you know, to be honest. So you can see like I can clearly show a lot more deviation. Like these are probably some hole coverings, right?
Yeah.
So there's a piece of plywood sitting there, you know, covering a hole.
Yeah.
You know,
I do
and then
think
another,
the contour lines are garbage, but the coloration in 3DR is probably one of the best I played with. Then as far as
Yeah.
adjustability and
I do
How do
like
you
it.
calculate the average elevation?
I mean,
Is it-
there's a couple ways to do it. On this one, you could select the mesh. Like if you create a mesh and then go to centroid 11260. So there's your centroid. This one though, I did in Excel, right? So the other thing that I'll do is I'll take this, I'll export these points on grid. You can see those blue points there.
Yep.
So those are a 2-foot grid, right?
Yep.
And I'll take that. So, and I extract the contours every time because there's an option in here where you can select whatever you want and send it to CAD if you have a drawing open,
Smart. Yeah.
which is fucking nice.
Yeah.
And
That is
so
nice.
what I'll do, depending on what condition the floor is in, and I'll export those right to CAD. And sometimes what I'll do is create the surface from the contours, even though I'll still use the contours from Carlson. You know, it's just a 3D plugin for Civil 3D, but I'll generate contours from these contours a lot of times because the meshes are so heavy that they really bog down my machine and it
Yep.
takes forever.
Yep.
And then I'll take these grid, I'll extract these points in a CSV, and then I have an Excel file that's already set up where I set the like my height, and it'll convert my elevations from that height to feet and inches, you know, so it'll say high, low, and eighth or whatever, and I'll just populate that entire thing and pop it in the comment section for the, you know, and dump that into I'll dump that into the CAD file, and you know, like you saw on that deliverable,
Yeah. Interesting.
that's right. That's just the comment with telling me whether it's high or low.
Yeah, it's pretty
you have a-
seamless.
Almost
do you have
too
a
easy.
3D PDF of floor?
Not on this one, but you
No.
must use meshes for that.
Yeah.
So
That's what I love the 3D PDF because anybody with Adobe can navigate around a heat map, you know.
So we use Bluebeam,
Our
you
blue
know.
beam too, yeah.
And then I have found that the at least in Bluebeam, like it's clunky trying to get around in those meshes, you know. Like it is not my favorite tool. It's great, you know, if for people to look at it, you know, and they can use it for like logistics stuff, you know, like if they're planning work in an area, you can mesh out like a whole floor or whatever, and then you know, snap pictures and all that kind of stuff. When that becomes like a scalable drawing, you know, a scalable PDF where you can actually start taking some measurements and shit in there, then I think that'll really be a great tool. But I found like that's the easiest way to share a point cloud to, you know, layman people who have no idea what they're looking at is by meshing it and creating a 3D PDF, and then I could send it to whoever. So
Well, get rid of the box.
no extra software to you know, to share. I probably have a couple of 3D PDFs. Let me see.
You know, I keep on saying I'm gonna go write that down on my board. Terra's solid. I need to look into that more.
So share again.
While you're looking, you know, Mac, at the beginning of the call, you mentioned the animation. What software was it you were using for the animation?
Oh, scene.
Pharaoh.
Seam, SEAM.
SCENE.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
Pharaoh's
Scene,
registration software. Yeah,
Oh, Pharaohs. Okay. Oh, cool.
yeah. So they have animation built in. 3DR has animation built in too. I just don't have 3DR right now. So, but although I love 3DR, Scene has some really cool options as far as like gap filling and stuff like that for when you want to really make a beautiful fly through. Subsampling and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a
I've
mesh,
done a little. Oh wow.
a 3D PDF mesh. So you can see
Yeah.
it's fucking sweet, to be honest.
Damn. Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's clunky. You know, like I can't just navigate in here like I want to.
Yeah. It's clunky, but at the same time, you're not paying someone a monthly fee to host this online. You can send that PDF to anybody, right?
Yep.
And they can get an idea of what it looks like, you know.
Yep. It's handy. It's pretty popular right now, to be honest. So digging that.
Yeah. I with this job yesterday that I did, I just bit the bullet. And I scanned the whole thing in Matterport. You know, I sent them the the visual walkthrough in Matterport, and I just said, okay, now get off my back for 2 weeks, and I'll get you the the Revit model, when we're done. But that seemed, I think that's what I'm going to do going forward, because that's something that everybody can look at and understand and use. And then the project manager, the owner, all the intermediate people, none of them are ever going to see the deliverable that goes straight to the the architect. But they can appreciate now that something's been done, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And like I said, if you can convince them to use it for whatever, you know, planning. I mean, and there's other options, but so far that one I've tried to get, you know, like project managers and superintendents to install you know, like TrueView or 3DR Viewer, some other free software viewers for point cloud stuff, and it really just dies, you know, right at the beginning when, you know, they have to learn a software or something like that. This, they can just open it and cruise around in it. They might have to, you know, screenshot it to mark it up or stuff like that, but still, it gives them something to play with. You know, people like to make things twirl around on their screen and shit like that.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is, so I did all the scanning with the Pro 3 scanner, which has LiDAR, and so it's not as good as Leica, but the functionality is so intuitive, that they can do the measurements, they can do annotations, and And so what that's going to allow them to do is answer the questions, like where is that outlet? How many receptacles did it have? Like that kind of stuff without having to call somebody. It gives them that power, and so, that's what I'm betting, is that longer term, it'll help by just making everybody's life easier, even though it takes a little bit longer up front. But the other reason I'm doing it is because if something bad happens, and I can't solve it, with the point cloud, in Leica, then I can just pay Matterport, to generate the model. It's kind of a backup too, even though I don't ever intend to use that option. It's nice to have as a fail-safe.
Hey man, before you get cut off again, you were saying you got bit in the ass by something with Cyclone, and then we lost you. Every time you get a cliffhanger, you go dark on us. What happened?
All right. Well, I'm crawling real slow in traffic now. So, so I scanned with SLAM with the BLK to go and with the BLK 360, but I ran into every problem you can run into. There was the lights, the generator in the building kept cutting out, and so the lights kept going on and off. And that was fucking up, all of the, all of the visuals. And then I didn't know, like I knew that you could combine BLK to go and BLK 360 scans in Cyclone. What I didn't know is that it makes it virtually impossible to export into a format that anybody else can use. And so you can't export a unified E57 from BLK to go and BLK 360. And then to make matters worse, I didn't realize that when you use HDR photography and then you run out of space on your tablet and you have to switch to LDR, that also changes, how you can export E57 from Cyclone. And so I mean, on that job, I ended up having to go buy a 2 terabyte tablet, so that I had more space to do the HDR. I found out that, I had to export. So I had to create site maps, for all the 8 different floors. And because I didn't realize that there was no native functionality to separate the floors to make them navigable, without creating the site maps. And so I created the blob, first of all, with everything unified. And then in the process of trying to separate them by floors, everything got screwed up and I basically had to realign it all, and so it ended up taking me a month, like 12-hour days, like going through there and making every mistake you can make, and so fortunately, I was able to get them to use TrueView, but I had to drive up there at 4 a.m. and, set up my, like supercomputer in their office with a monitor, so that their estimator, could go through everything in the LGS software, because their procurement department could not buy anybody, a computer with enough power, to go through an 80 gigabyte LGS file with TrueView. And then the administrator passwords, to get TrueView installed meant that nobody could do it on their own, and so it was a crash course in bureaucracy, all the limitations.
Yeah. One thing with the installs that you can get around a little bit is there is an installerless version of TrueView that you can run straight off a stick or a hard drive or whatever, and so that can help with some of those situations.
That version is not going to handle an 80 gigabyte LGS though.
What I
should,
might have
unless they screw
suggested
something
on that
up.
is if you had the opportunity, if you were in either Cyclone or 3DR, you could resample that point cloud, like 1/4 inch spacing or whatever, and greatly reduce the file size.
I didn't know you couldn't produce an LAS or anything else if you combine those two.
You should be able to.
Yeah.
You should be able to unify.
Well,
that.
I thought you should be able to. Maybe that was just a version thing? I think you can now.
Okay, well, so you can produce a single LGS file. You cannot produce an E57 from different, from different point clouds that were scanned with different methods.
What about
So
LAS?
I could not get a unified. I don't think I could get a unified LAS out of it.
Because yeah,
or-
a
or-
structure
or sorry.
57 should fail, but
I'm sorry. Maybe I could have gotten an LGS out, but I could not get panoramic photography, out,
Oh,
and that's
yeah,
what was
yeah.
critical.
right.
That was
That's
what
a
was critical for
structured-
them.
Yeah.
Right. For them, nobody cared about the point cloud. The point cloud just served as the map of the building. What they cared about was the panoramic images mapped in the building, because they were doing an inventory of what's in the building, what needs to be fixed. The whole situation was the building was half built. There was a whole bunch of FF&E in it. Some floors were fully built out. Some floors were like not built out at all except for structure. And then some rooms were just packed with toilets, and so they were just trying to figure out, like, how much is it going to cost to finish this job? And so what they needed were the geolocated, or the relative locations of all of these panoramic images in the building. So what they really needed was a Matterport tour. It was such a big job, and at the time I didn't have the Pro 3 and I didn't have the enterprise subscription, and I was so disenchanted with Matterport, I thought I could do it all with Leica. And I thought that Reality Cloud Studio was going to solve all my problems, and it turned out Reality Cloud Studio, well, my feelings about Reality Cloud Studio. It was way too
Let's
early to
share.
release that, and so I was grossly misinformed that Reality Cloud Studio was going to function seamlessly like Matterport and make my client's life easy by making this all in the cloud. And so that's why I wasn't concerned about it at the beginning. It was only halfway through when I realized, oh shit, like Reality Cloud Studio is not working. Now I need to figure out how to give them a way somehow to navigate these panoramic images in a map that makes sense. And so that's why. So what I ended up doing was separating every floor, creating each individual site map for each floor, installing each one of those as a separate LGS file, and then giving them TrueView. So what I delivered to them was 8 separate LGS files with TrueView on a stick, and that allowed them, to navigate enough to do their job.
Yeah, that multiple floor plan thing is a huge issue. It's been there since the beginning, and to create linked sitemaps like that is real convoluted. You can do it. I've done it a number of times, but it's not at all intuitive to do it, and it's a huge pain. That workflow has been awful for years now, and it just was never a priority to fix that, and you can tell.
Yeah. Oh man, it was terrible. But now I've done it. Now I know exactly how to do it. But boy, it was painful getting there. And like I said, I think Leica did a wonderful job of showing you all the best features, and completely ignoring everything that is really important to know, but maybe isn't great for them, right? And so all the red flags that I was worried about and I kind of brushed aside at the very beginning all came back and bit me in the ass because I didn't ask the question as directly as I should have.
That sucks. That's also the reason why we're doing that committee stuff too, right? Is to cut through all the BS, and so people don't get burnt, right?
Yeah.
Hey, time zone issues, I'm sure. Karina shows up for the last 10 minutes.
I was out laser scanning a grain elevator.
All right, you know
so-
what? If there was one
What's
excuse.
I'm here,
Does your
I'm here.
sweatshirt say CNT?
GNT
Oh, okay.
for Geomatics
Gabe?
Engineering Technology.
Gabe Engineering Technology, right on. Digging that.
They don't know how to spell engineering. They think it start with an N, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, that's good. I thought I was gonna have to blur that shirt out for a second.
No, it's just advertising my Gmatics program.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, I saw you guys had snow up there not too long ago, right?
Yeah, and now it's gone. It's like
It was like during your guys' spring break, it snowed, right?
It snows until May long weekend, which is the second last weekend in May. But it's like snows and then it melts and then it snows and then it melts. so yeah, but we had just like last week we had how many inches? About 12 inches of snow, and now it's gone. So
That's like 0.3 meters.
yes,
Four. I'm just kidding.
exactly.
Good catch. I didn't even realize that she was using freedom units.
I have to be bilingual.
Don't tell me in Nazi distance. I watched a little bit of your panel with what was it, Go Geomatics or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it. Where's that at? Was it live or was it on the interwebs?
It's now on YouTube, but
Okay.
yeah, if you look at me, look me up in LinkedIn, and then I have one of my posts that.
Okay.
That has
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
missed
that's
it.
where I saw it.
Sorry.
It was pretty good. You had some pretty good
Okay.
stuff to say about the future of scanning and
What would you add to it?
Nothing. You nailed it. Perfect job.
I mean, honestly, I get all my good information from you. So, there's a lot of this stuff that you're deeper in on, and than probably all of us in this room. So, but yeah, I just thought it was good.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Again, I know a lot of what you were talking about comes from your teaching side of things. So I think it's pretty good the way you put out the teaching people how to do this. And again, it came up in your conversation that people jump right in and they think they're an expert and they don't really know how to verify their data. I thought that was a really good point to bring up because, so many people jump into this thing. They figure out how to do a registration. They're never on control. They don't have any real QC procedures, and it really hurts the rest of the people in the industry that do put that extra effort.
And it's not even their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the manufacturer and salespeople's fault that tell them they can do that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just give us $100,000 and everything works perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't teach you how to prove that it doesn't.
That's right.
And Doug, you asked about how Mac and I, Matt, and that was one of the things that Mac finally convinced me to get away from Cyclone Core, and I had been using it for 10 years. And he's like, no, you got to try 3DR, and now I love it. Right. But, he was able to actually, I don't think he ever gave me the couple hours worth of training that was supposed to come with the software that I purchased. But,
I think
but anyway, he at least pointed me in the right direction, and we'd had enough little things that I'd done before that obviously with 10 years of Cyclone, you can it's almost like the easy button when you switch to 3DR. I'm not sure which you're using, but
so speaking of learning Cyclone, how did the girls turn out?
You know what? They haven't presented yet, and I'm going to tell them that they need to send you an email to let you know when they're presenting on the 22nd, because it's a hybrid presentation, so you can watch live.
Yeah, we'll watch it. I think we kind of
I haven't seen
that.
anything. I basically just told them, you guys got to figure this out. I'm not hand-holding you anymore. You're supposed to graduate. You're graduating in 2 weeks.
We kind of failed them on the cloud compare, but we nailed it on the Cyclone. So
okay, awesome. Yeah, that's if they, as long as they can get distances between the clouds, and that's it. That's really that's enough for it. I figure that's enough to get a 70%.
Well, and I think honestly, if they learn, I think the biggest thing they could learn is fucking ask what the deliverable is. When they're like, oh yeah, we need this model, then I'm like, well, that could mean anything. They think it means a mesh, but I'm like, that could be 2D line work. find out what the person wants, and then you can save yourself a lot of headaches and, you know.
Well, the hard part for them was that their client was the slam scan off, and they're still working on it, right? So they now do not have a client, and now they got to figure out what the objective is because they didn't complete the project in time.
Oh,
Oh,
So-
that wasn't our fault.
No, it wasn't your fault. It was entirely their fault. And I'm like, you guys got to figure out what you're going to do with this, because it's not my job to figure out your project for you.
oh, you're being a real hard ass. No
Oh, I
wonder.
am a hard
mean,
ass.
welcome to the fucking world.
Yeah. No
Holy
wonder
shit.
they got scared when I
I
said,
could
"Oh, I'll
not
talk to
imagine
Miss
trying to
Butterworth
answer.
about it." And they're like, "No, don't do that."
Oh yeah, they got a real earful. It was not a. I was just like a client, and it was funny because Jesse, the ALS or the land surveyor on staff, he was exactly that. He's like, you were exactly like what a client would act like if they really screwed up a project.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, well, they have to know this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
They're not going to be
Seems to be
employed
a
long
recurring
if they don't
theme
learn
tonight.
that lesson
Exactly.
now.
exactly. Sorry, what was
The
that? Dave?
Yep.
I will
yeah.
say we recorded the first session with him, and I should have recorded the second session because when Gabe finally got through to him exactly how that registration should work,
Mhm.
the light, you could literally see a light bulb above their head go on.
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
so awesome.
They look like a kid on Christmas, you know. And we didn't get that recorded, but it was a moment that was pretty cool.
Do you want to come up and teach? You come up and be here, an instructor here, because I
We
couldn't
No,
get
just
that
talked
light
about how
bulb.
you
definitely
got
not.
12 inches
Not
of snow
anymore.
a week ago.
Nope.
What's
That was
that?
only 2 kids. How many do you normally teach at a day? You must have what, 100?
64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. I will say that at least one of them was pretty good at. They knew their way around in Cyclone. pretty
Oh
good.
yeah, the
That's
I'm
good.
not-
What was
say.
what was their?
Well,
I
I think
can't
it was
remember.
Natalia and Charlie were the two that were.
Charlie, I think it was.
Yeah, Charlie's
Yeah.
like the most brilliant girl.
Holy shit, there's a
Kind of-
ghost in David's.
She's she's so brilliant. Like yeah. But
Yeah. So, anyways, that was at least a good part of it. But you know, when I teach people how to run that software, I call it getting clicky. You know, where you're like, all right, now select that, and they're double clicking, and I'm like, oh, now you got to go back, or you got to start over. And it drives
Exactly.
me nuts, you know. And I'm good for about an hour and a half or 2 hours of doing that, and I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna have to pick the rest of this up some other time.
Yeah.
Because
I would actually come up and teach, like, you know, if I could do 1 week on and 2 weeks off, I would
Mhm.
absolutely do that.
Well, we might need a part-time person, but
that would be cool. If I could do it remotely, I would.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That's
yeah.
the funny thing about teaching is I keep saying that we need to get online courses. Like we really need to switch to some online. My classes are easy to go online because they're all software other than the laser scanning. But like it's like, why can't we put one online? And even if we only have 10 people, like just run it. Like,
Yeah.
so
You know what I think would be fun to teach would be like survey 101, like plane surveying. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
no geodesy, no like
This is how you set up a tripod.
theodolites,
This
chains.
is a measuring tape.
Yeah. Supported and unsupported traverse closures and precisions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I loved that stuff. Like when I was in school, it was like my favorite.
Then you
you
get
know,
to do coordinate systems with marshmallows and skewers.
That was freaking awesome.
It was really funny.
I was looking
seeing
at that and
figure
I was
out
like,
geodesic
I know
stuff.
exactly how I would, like if I had 3-4 marshmallows, I know exactly how I would, you know, plot out my little UCS marshmallow diagram.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe painted them like red RGB, you know, red, green, blue for like XYZ.
Yeah, exactly.
That would've been-
That's what I was looking for, and some really
Well,
got it.
I
Some
could
were
be a
like, I don't know what to
student.
do with this.
I'll bet I'd get an A. None of that 70% shit like you were talking
Yeah,
about.
that's right.
And I'd have delivered on my point cloud.
Exactly. I came in and stole the show for your last 10 minutes here. I'm sorry. I probably interrupted
no,
some
don't be
really
sorry.
important conversation.
Actually, this has been a pretty good lounge.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting conversations going on.
Nice.
So I'm glad you made it. I don't think you were at the last one, so
No, I
It's
missed the
always
last
good to
one.
have your opinions in here, you know.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, Douglas,
Oh.
let us know where you're staying, and we'll figure out where we're gonna meet for lunch or breakfast or brunch or whatever.
I should come down.
You should.
Yeah.
And actually, we need to catch up about some of the committee stuff.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so
I'm going to be on Vancouver Island in August, so I might be able to like take a boat.
Oh,
and
well,
get to
if you
Seattle.
can't, we'll come up. I love Vancouver.
Oh,
I
well,
do too. Vancouver's freaking sweet.
have you been to the island?
Maybe, I
No.
don't
Like
know.
Victoria?
Oh, I've been no.
No, you guys gotta come
I hear. Wait, when are you gonna be there? August?
in August. Yeah.
Okay, if I am not, depends on when. We can make that happen.
I come
We
back
also have a
from
golf
Austria.
tournament that we're
Oh, sweet.
helping.
Go to
We're hosting.
Austria?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
guys are all living the life.
Well, and my
We'll be there
Swedish
soon, Dave.
friends.
What's
My
that?
My Swedish friends wanted us to meet up again because I lived in Austria for a year, so that's where I met them, and so they're like, we should go meet up before our sons are 18. So I was like, all right, so yeah, we're going.
Did
there.
you tell Jessica that you lived over there?
I don't think I did.
Oh, because you know she lived in Prague for a couple of years.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have been like
So
3-hour train ride away because I measure
Yeah.
everything in hours.
And I
It's
actually I
ridiculous.
knew that you didn't tell her that because she'd still be talking about it, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. I'll have to. Well, when I come, I really should go and see Seattle because I've never seen Seattle. So
It's a
Yeah,
shithole. You'll
it's-
see some stuff here in the US.
August is a good time to do it.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
summer
And if
here
you-
is amazing for sure.
If you come at the right time, you can go to a golf tournament with us.
you don't want to see me golf.
I don't want to see anybody golf, but it's still fun.
Then I guess it would have to be a lot of beer.
Yeah.
And I'll just walk the ball with me.
Well, speaking of which, we are trying to design a drink right now for the tournament for us at the hole, because we're sponsoring a hole. And I think I'm going to call it Laser Focus. And it's going to be like a Red Bull vodka drink.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I have to keep the vodka hidden because the marshal will get all upset, right? But yeah, so I'm trying out a few different recipes right now. I have some time, August, but I want to make sure we nail it right.
Nice. That's
Hey,
awesome.
did you know she lived in where?
I lived in
Austria?
Austria. Yeah.
Karina. Oh, apparently you have talked about it.
Okay. I have
Maybe
a
we
really bad
shouldn't all
memory.
drink all the time every time we get up.
Right. No,
We hung out
I think it's
in Calgary and Las Vegas, which is probably the Las Vegas of Canada.
yeah. Kind of. Yeah. You got to come up for Stampede, then it's really the Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, we want to come up for Stampede for sure. And that's a fun drive too, especially with Gabe.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
And we know we can get across the border without any issues.
Exactly.
We don't even have to have the right passports.
Roger that.
Well, just if you're nice enough and you seem like you're like Canadian, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Just come
Oh no,
in.
I think she was just
Let
not.
us on through, eh? Is that
Yeah, she was done
talking
with
about-
her job for the day.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm not
who's
filling out
gonna
the
open
paperwork
this
on this
border
bullshit.
for us?
The story behind
Hot
that
enough
is
for you?
my
Must
wife
be-
used
Must
my
be 40
my
degrees out.
12-year-old daughter's passport to get into that country.
Nice.
And my 12-year-old daughter has like, I think at that time, short purple hair. And my wife is obviously not 12 and doesn't have purple hair. So we got through.
Yeah.
Mac, I'm gonna
Well,
forward you an
oh
email.
shit, switched to track mode. God damn it.
I'm gonna forward you an email, Mac, with a potential lead on a big fucking project.
Okay.
But we need to get something together like by tomorrow morning.
Well, I
Yeah,
wish you
it's
had
a
told me that
restaurant, but-
before I got a couple Moscow meals deep. All right.
Well, it's something we can look at in the morning, but
Yeah.
it's definitely worth a read. So
Perfect.
could-
All right,
could
guys.
be huge.
That
Great seeing
marks
you.
the
Doug?
end of this one.
Doug, don't forget to hit us up when you get up here Wednesday.
Cedarbrook Lodge. That's where we're staying. Cedarbrook Lodge. I think it's somewhere near SeaTac Airport.
Okay.
But yeah, we're coming in Tuesday night, but we got dinner plans Tuesday, and then Wednesday during the day, I'm wide open, but generally, but one of those days I've got to drive out and go visit this factory. So I'll follow up on that, and let you know. But Cedarbrook Lodge is the place we're staying.
Okay,
Roger
so
that. It's
but
right
she
by
lives
SeaTac.
near here, right?
What's that?
She lives near here, or she lives here?
Oh no, she's down here in San Diego. She's just speaking at a university up there.
Okay, so just okay, this looks okay. All right. I get nervous when someone says they're staying near SeaTac. So I just wanted to make sure it looks okay. I don't know Cedarbrook, but because you just like near any airport in any city, free muggings with check-in.
I used to work for Hilton, and I represented in the feasibility group, so I went all over the place. And one day we had a project at the DoubleTree SeaTac Airport, and I didn't check to see what groups were there, but I went in there, and I don't know the politically correct way to say this, but I walked in, and it was a midget convention. And I mean, literally, I was like, I've never been the tallest person in a room by like 2 feet, but I felt like a giant in this.
Just go to China.
Yeah,
That's how I
exactly.
felt.
Wow.
But
This
it was
conversation went-
anyway, so I have very fond memories of SeaTac.
That's
Well, we had a
funny.
project there, so.
Oh my
God, he cut out again.
Yeah. Of course he did. Cliffhanger. So we're doing some work there though. It's a sea concourse expansion. That's us.
But it's funny he brought that up because this morning when I was dropping my daughter off at school, I was like, "Oh my God, you have a little person! You have a little person at your school!" And she was like, "Yeah, I know, Dad. Chill out." I'm like, "They're in the ROTC. They're in the ROTC." And she's like, "I know. Chill out." It was kind of cool to see a little person in like a military uniform just like marching along. But
Yeah.
I guess someone has to clean out the cannons.
I sent that.
What?
I sent that email I was
Oh.
telling you about.
Perfect.
You know, we're missing
All right.
is Ben. Where the hell's Ben?
Yeah, no. He's been busy lately. Yeah, what's going on with my camera? I'm gonna have to switch cameras. All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
Sorry it's such a short one for you, Karina.
That's okay. I was out laser scanning, so I was living the
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Like doing
Yeah.
an old
Nice.
grain elevator. So
Oh, heck yeah. Well,
now I'm all excited
data.
about going to Seattle in August. So it's like looking at the prices to take the ferry. So
That'd be fun.
so
It's
now
only a
I've got-
couple
It's
hours.
not that bad,
Yeah.
actually. Actually, I'm surprised
That's pretty well Canadian.
Gabe,
dollars.
that could be an adventure. Let's see if there's anything worth scanning in Victoria.
Yeah. Find us.
Not when Karina's there, but it's us two.
Oh no, I'll join in. But yeah,
We'll make her register it. So we don't have to.
maybe.
Be nice to have somebody else do the registration.
Gabe, your Apple glasses make you look constipated right now. Or not Gabe, David.
Oh, really? I need a rescan when we get off.
You look like you're in what is it called? Back to the Future, where like he's fading away.
Yeah. I don't know why it keeps going in and out because I think it's the sunlight hitting the cameras.
yeah.
I'm right by the window.
You look
I don't know
halfway
how to-
transparent.
I don't know how to make the background different.
Where are
It's
you
always
at today, David?
I'm on the
You're not
couch,
home.
all snuggled up in my blankets, and nobody knows except for me.
Oh,
But-
the yank it. All right, guys.
All
Good.
right. See you
Great
guys.
time tonight.
Thanks for coming.
All
Yeah,
right,
thanks
see
so
you guys.
much.
Later.
Bye.
Okay, see ya.